this documentary hit the right notes, but brought up some pretty good and bad memories. Chase Lee Hockey here at the Blue Futon reviewing Lourdes. So what is this documentary about? It's a pretty simple premise. Actually, we're following multiple people throughout their journey to go to Lourdes, France for the week pilgrimage. So we have a kid who can't get hormones anymore. Then we have his kid brother who's 2 years old that's probably going to pass away at 2 years old. Then we have a guy who tried to commit suicide twice but goes to Lourdes for the past 15 years. We have a girl who's 14 who gets bullied because something's wrong with her left arm. Like I said, you have multiple stories like that of them going towards and just trying to pray, feel better, and just have a chance to get that miracle. So did I like this film? I really did. I thought it was a good documentary. It had good stories, good perspective of other people. Because yes, we could only talk about the people trying to go to Lourdes, but then we also have these people that are kind of in a caravan. I think they were like the gypsies going to Lourdes. The only way I say gypsies because they had a sign and the subtitle said gypsies. So I guess those people were gypsies of going to Lourdes every year. And then we also have the people volunteering that will help feed the people at Lourdes or the nurses trying to help them. And it's a good perspective of these people they can't feed themselves. So you need these volunteers, and that's what these people are there for a week. Clean them, bathe them, make them feel comfortable, because of when they actually go to Lourdes and touch the rock and try to get that miracle, that is what they're there for. And it's not cheap. I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to go there normally. It is some people need stretchers. Some people need mechanical equipment, and that ain't cheap in any part of the world to get to that location. So getting there is pretty remarkable, and having these people try to get that miracle, just try to feel a little bit better, because knowing life has given them a very, very short straw. And yes, I did cry in this movie for sure. Brought back some memories of my sister going to Lourdes, trying to get that route. Unfortunately, I couldn't go because I was in college at that time. So I know when my sister and mom went there was a huge storm, the worst storm Lourdes has ever seen in decades. And they weren't going to be able to go to the rock, in which my mom was freaking devastated. But you could call it a miracle happen of them being able to actually go to that location. So, you could call that a miracle. You can't call it a miracle. It's really up to the people's perspective. But I would call it one because, if it's that much rain and flooding happens and they would still be able to go, I think there was something there to actually occur. Trying not to cry right now, but yeah, the other issue, I did have an issue with some of the stories though. I mean, there was one, because you see these people, right? You see these people that can't eat, can't clean themselves. One story is a 40-year-old man who has to have his parents or grandparents help him throughout the day of eating, cutting his apples, showering. And you just have this these people, and you're just do I really have it hard in the world? When I'm working on the computer, when I'm doing this stuff, when I'm seeing people on TikTok, when I'm seeing people on Facebook, when I'm seeing people on other platforms complain about how hard of life they have it. And you're do you really have a life? Because now I just heard Salma Hayek said, she's too gorgeous to get movie roles. Really? That's what you're going to complain about. That is what you're going to complain about. You are wealthy. You are beautiful. You have basically everything in life. And because you didn't get a movie role, even though you're already a millionaire, that's what you're going to complain about? Man, go to a St. Jude's hospital. And which I like some actors that actually go there. Robert Downey Jr. went there. Tom Holland. When they go to those locations, I try to donate to St. Jude's all the time, because it's that's the worst thing ever for a parent with kids with cancer. So you're just yeah, that's hardship. That's hardship, having a kid, go through the pain of chemo. Having the parents watch their kid go through the pain of chemo. That is hard. Not, oh, I'm too pretty, or you just have a bunch of these people oh, you misgender me with the wrong pronoun, so I'm going to cry now. It's a hate crime. That's not a hate crime. That's not a hate crime. Words don't mean nothing, okay? Yeah, there are some, racist words out there, but that is a minuscule. minuscule to some of the pain that some people have actually been through in life. So when I talk about that, there is a storyline in here about prostitutes in Paris. Do they go to Lourdes because they want to touch the rock? Yes and no. Which that storyline just felt a little off to being the story about a guy who's a prostitute, who's cross-dresses into drag, who wants to be a female. But, praise, sure, I don't care that you think you want to be a female. I mean, some people might call that a mental disorder because let's be honest, on some levels, if a person at 16, 21, 42, whatever, wants to, cut off their breasts, which, if you have breast cancer, that's a female. I think that's a disgrace on all, mankind, whatsoever. Because it's what the, don't cuss in this one. So yeah, like that. Or cutting off your private parts. It's no, that's chemical castration. Why are we praising that? And we were kind of doing that in today's day and age where it's you're purposely mutilating yourself while you have these people going to Lourdes that have these medical conditions that didn't do it to them on purpose. Okay, one of them for the suicide, but you're just what are we doing in today's society right now? But speaking on that storyline, it just felt like it didn't. I mean, I understand. I don't care how that storyline, but when you look at the other people involved, then you look at this guy's struggle, you're just I can't connect. I can't connect with personal preference. And what I'm just seeing on the screen, dude, you could go to the bathroom by yourself. You could feed yourself. He even said in the documentary, I don't have to be a prostitute, but I'm forcing myself to do it because I have no self-control. Okay, like I said, that's something you might have a mental disorder that you need to go to a therapist because, let's be honest, I'm pretty sure M. Night Shyamalan made a movie called Split in Glass and other medical, multiple personality disorder, people might call it bipolar disorder when you have people thinking people that, oh yeah, I have a 5-year-old living in my head and also a 70-year-old living in my head. People go to mental institutions because of that. But in our day and society, we are saying, oh, my name is Chase. I feel like being a Claire today. And so now I'm going to cut off my penis and testicles. That's not a mental disorder. That's not. So when you have that, like I said, when you have that in the documentary of that whole, medical purposely doing stuff to your body versus people that can't help themselves, no sympathy on that side of the aisle. I just can't. It's just not possible for me. But Lourdes, as a documentary, it has some good imagery, good direction. And this is one where it's the camera just sits there and you will just unfold of what occurs. It's nothing scripted, and I enjoyed that aspect. And like I said, when you get the aspect of the nurses and the people helping, and they are they're emotional because you see a person crying because they have to go home, and it overall, I think Lourdes is a documentary to watch, even if you're religious or not. This puts its perspective in the world of what is real hardship. So Lourdes will receive a 4.5 out of 5 with Futon. She goes at 90%. Let's see what the critics' news scores gave this one. So yeah, talking about this, I'm a little bit confused because I have critics from 2019, 2021. So I think it's a re-release. So it is what it is. But it is 4 reviews from the critics, all positive. So 100%, no audience score fewer than 50. So yeah, you have a 90 and 100%. So that was my confusion too. It's I was doing research about this. I'm wait, this was at a festival in 2019, but it was actually released in June 2021, and here we are in 2023. So I just think it was a re-release, and I'm glad I watched the re-release. So we have 190. Chase Arc with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of the things Buftontopia, Buftonies. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. And seriously, now I'm guilty of man, F this. This is stupid. But then I watch these documentaries once every other month, and I'm get your stuff together. Get your stuff together.